So without digressing, let me introduce our keynote address speaker. Adrian Xavier Leonce is a distinguished figure whose career spans various sectors, reflecting a blend of technical expertise and leadership acumen. He has a BSc in Mechanical Engineering from the University of the West Indies and an MSc in Mechanical Engineering Design from the University of Manchester. He has professional affiliations with the Institution of Mechanical Engineers in the UK and with the Association of Professional Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago. Between 2007 and 2015, he was a managing director of Leonce Innovations Company Limited, spearheading engineering projects with an entrepreneurial vision. This led him into the political arena. In 2015, he began serving as a politician and as a minister of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, where he utilizes comprehensive skills and engineering experience, serving and influencing policy and driving national development. Minister Leonce's multifaceted career and his commitment to excellence highlight the impact that an individual can have across different sectors, driven by a passion for innovations and a dedication to service. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Minister Leonce to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You all hearing me? All right. So I'd like to recognize the IStructE team that put this program together. I'd like to also recognize the presenters and you, the members that are here to celebrate the 30 years that passed and the 30 years to come. You know, it's really strange being in a room where I can talk engineering freely and people will understand. So something as simple as saying finite element analysis, you know, I can't say that in my chambers. They will be like, what are you speaking about? You know, you talk about meshing and the different types of meshing and the, you know, what will give you more accuracy, etc. You know, when I was asked to speak, I just felt like I think I want to leave politics and start back again. You know, I remember one of my projects that I did in the UK was doing a design of a wheeled mobile vehicle for planetary exploration. So, you know, we had to consider different types of terrain, etc. And to me, the hardest thing was modeling, you know, and being able to get the models to work. Sometimes you put a model together and you have it running and you come next day and then you see an error and you say, oh my gosh, I have to start all over again. You know, but when I was able to finish and complete, you know, I'm standing here proud to say that the British military and several private contractors has used that same project in their moving forward, you know, and we engineers make changes and we are problem solvers. We identify problems and we create solutions. So I came here with a script to read, but as a politician, if we don't stick to the script, we stay here and we can talk for hours, you know. But I want to congratulate the 30 years that you all would have stood and just the forward thinking of 30 years in the future. Now, I'm a member of IMECI, and IStructE, I think, is about 10 minutes drive away in Westminster, where I'm in London. And I think that we engineers have a critical role to play in the future of this world and how we live and what we experience. So I just want to get back to my script, okay? So the Caribbean region has seen remarkable engineering achievements over the last 30 years. And this function is a testament to that. This function, the past 30 and the future 30, highlights the progress, emphasizing the evolution of structural engineering in the face of climate change and climate challenges that we face. The Caribbean engineering sector has expanded into numerous specializations, adapting to global and regional dynamics of the 21st century, showcasing the transformative power of engineering in societal development. These achievements are testament to the region's commitment to advancing its infrastructure and engineering capabilities, setting a precedent for future generations. Problems. As I said, we are problem solvers. In the Caribbean region, we face a multitude of challenges that impacts development and sustainability. Natural disasters, such as hurricanes and earthquakes, frequently disrupt the lives of citizens and economies due to region's geographical location. Additionally, the Caribbean grapples with high levels of debt, which constrains the ability to invest in social reforms and infrastructure. Security concerns, including drug trafficking and armed violence, further complicate the socio-economic landscape. The COVID-19 pandemic has also left us with a mark, exacerbating existing issues and introducing new ones, such as the strain on healthcare systems and the impact of tourism, which is a major source of economy in our Caribbean region. Efforts to harness marine resources, sustainability, and are crucial for addressing our food security. Unemployment and climate change affects our resilience. These challenges require comprehensive and collaborative approaches to ensure the region can thrive in the face of adversity. Engineering solutions. Engineering solutions to the challenges faced by the Caribbean region are diverse and innovative, focus on resilience, sustainability, and cooperation. I'd just like to stick up in there because the chair would have asked the question, what is resilience to you? What is sustainability? And as engineers, we have to integrate that in our solution because that is the only way we can move forward and keep growing and building. Disaster risk management is a key area with initiatives like engineering resilient Caribbean coastlines. That is the Aranco project, which integrates digital coastal ecosystem models to enhance disaster preparedness and resilience. Infrastructure development is also crucial, addressing the road and bridge maintenance, traffic management, public transport optimization. Sustainable development practices are being implemented, including river recreation development, landslip and coastal erosion management, and the application of optimal standards in construction. Renewable energy development is another significant area, with a roadmap proposed for transforming regions' energy systems to accelerate the energy transition. In Trinidad, we enjoy very cheap electrical energy, but we have far advanced in other Caribbean regions because they're not as fortunate, and sometimes we need to collaborate so we can integrate this within our space also. Additionally, integrated coastal zone management strategies are employed, utilizing engineering solutions such as artificial reef and fishery habitat enhancement to promote biodiversity conservation. These engineering approaches are designed to tackle the Caribbean's unique challenges, aiming to create a more resilient and prosperous future for our region. Now, I know you all are going to talk about codes just now. I just want to touch about standards and codes because it is the Bible in which we function. We improve our standards, we improve our codes, and these things are influenced based on our culture, based on our space, based on our environment. So I just want to touch a little bit on it. In Trinidad and Tobago, the development of a comprehensive national building code has been a subject of discussion for many years. Currently, the country does not have a national building code, which is a critical tool for ensuring that structures are built to withstand the challenges posed by the local environment, including the risk of natural disasters such as hurricanes and earthquakes. The Ministry of Planning and Development, in collaboration with the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards, has been considering the adoption of international codes to enhance building safety. This move has seen a step towards standardizing construction practices, improving the resilience of buildings against environmental stress. The CARICOM Regional Energy Efficiency Building Code, which is based on the International Energy Conservation Code, is also in the process of being adopted and implemented in Trinidad and Tobago. This code aims to promote energy efficiency in buildings, which is increasingly important in the context of climate change and the need for sustainable development. And just thinking about what we do in buildings, you know, we also have to be very conscious when we're doing designs, even if the client don't request it. You know, putting energy conservation systems, you know, when you're doing your plumbing designs and the architects putting in different fixtures that will promote energy conservation. You know, a lot of times the client just wants a functional building, but doesn't consider the impact that it has on the electrical usage. You know, some things are pretty easy to implement within the MAP designs to ensure that the building promotes a bit more conservation and even some level of smart, you know, and green where necessary. In the Caribbean region, we have established a comprehensive set of standards and codes to ensure construction safety and resilience, particularly in response to natural disasters coming to the area, such as hurricanes and earthquakes, as we suggested earlier. The Caribbean Uniform Building Code, CUBIC, developed with the support of various organizations, including the Caribbean Development Bank and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, serves as a cornerstone of these standards. It provides harmonized framework and addresses the unique environmental challenges and promotes sustainable development practices across the region. These building codes, the OAS building codes, which are based on CUBIC, further refines these standards to cater for the specific need of Eastern Caribbean islands. These codes are crucial for mitigating damage from natural disasters and ensuring that the safety of buildings and their occupants. They encompass a wide range of considerations from structural integrity to electrical and plumbing systems, all designed to withstand the severe weather conditions that can occur in this region. Moreover, the implementation of these codes is supported by training for local professionals and awareness of campaigns for the public, emphasizing the importance of adhering to these standards for long-term safety and economic stability. And, you know, as a policy maker, creator, changer, and developer, you know, we create laws based on the challenges that we have. But enforcing the laws comes with a different level of responsibility. Sorry. So when we establish the importance of these codes and these standards, we also have to have the responsibility to enforce and to ensure that these things are adhered to. You know, a lot of times we see failure, and it's not because the standards or the codes were not right. Most of the time it's because it wasn't enforced. You know, roads are failing because when we were applying the roads, moisture content wasn't right, the base wasn't compacted properly. We have a situation where we have to demolish a whole housing unit, a whole housing development because of lack of adherence to our standards and codes. So when we move forward as a region, as a people, we also have to take responsibility for what is going on around us and stand firm. The adoption and enforcement of the Caribbean building standards and codes are vital for the region's resilience. They not only protect against the immediate threats posed by natural disasters, but also contribute to the overall sustainability and growth of Caribbean communities. As climate change continues to pose increasing risk, the role of these building codes become more and more critical and crucial, serving as a dynamic tool that evolves with the changing environmental landscape to safeguard the Caribbean's future. So where are we going? We have challenges in drainage. Drainage issues in the Caribbean are closely tied to the region's development challenges, particularly in the context of climate change and its impact on water resources. We recently completed a design for development, and we had to redesign it because of climate change. We had to change the standards that we work with because we recognize that even with adherence to those standards, we still have any issue of flooding. So it's a dynamic thing. It's changing, and we also have to change as the times change and the environment changes. So studies such as those conducted by the Global Water Partnership Caribbean highlighted the need for integrated water resources, addressing the increasing water demand and the stress on water and sewage systems due to urbanization and industrialization. Research also points to the vulnerability of small island development states in the Caribbean, where water resource sustainability is threatened by the hydroclimatic hazards like droughts and floods. Addressing these challenges require a multifaceted approach, including policy reform, infrastructure development, and community engagement to ensure resilient and sustainable water management system in the Caribbean. You see how many times we talk about resilience and sustainability? That is the foundation in moving forward. We have issues with roads, as we just spoke about. The Caribbean region faces unique challenges in road infrastructure and road network development due to geographical diversity and economic constraints. Issues such as funding and maintenance and the integration of public-private partnerships are critical for the advancing of road networks. policy briefs suggest that addressing these challenges require comprehensive national development plans and ongoing initiatives that focus on sustainability and resilient infrastructure systems. And when we talk about comprehensive plans, we talk about being holistic. It's not just about, as a developer, as persons who are developers, it's not just about how your little space functions, but it's about how your little space and development affects the wider space, especially with traffic management, flooding, etc. Moreover, urban transport systems in the region are grappling with rapid population growth and urbanization, necessitating innovative solutions to improve mobility and reduce congestion. Efforts to enhance road infrastructure are pivotal for economic growth and the overall development of Caribbean nations. And we can't talk about road and not talk about bridges. The Caribbean region faces challenges in bridge development, primarily due to its vulnerability to climate change, which include rising sea levels and extreme weather events. These factors necessitate a focus on resilient infrastructure that can withstand such conditions. Initiatives like the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund are crucial, providing grant funding for sustainable development projects. Moreover, the post-pandemic era has seen a shift towards reinforcing healthcare and social support systems, indicating a holistic approach to development that considers the well-being of the Caribbean communities. And we must admit the Caribbean is a paradise, but there are some challenges that we have in the Caribbean, and where I represent in Trinidad, there are some areas that are considered to be slums, and we develop programs for slum eradication. Slum eradication and development in the Caribbean face complex challenges, including the need for sustainable urban planning and disaster resilience. Efforts are underway to address these issues, such as the Caribbean Strategy for Informal Settlements Upgrading, which aims to guide national governments towards inclusive and robust citywide plans. This strategy aligns with the global best practices and regional policies, focusing on building resilient and sustainable developments within the unique context of Caribbean nations. And when we think about the unplanned developments, we think of improper infrastructure, we think of poor drainage, we saw on the news when rain falls, somewhere in those areas, a house going and fall. So sometimes in our plans, we have to get this holistic plan of being able to go into these spaces and develop the infrastructure and build resilient homes, low-cost homes, so that we can all benefit, not just as a nation, but as a region. And we want to create smart spaces to build smart cities. And the development of smart cities in the Caribbean is a multifaceted endeavor, addressing urban resilience, inclusivity, and sustainability. Urban planners in the region are tackling rapid urbanization and its associated challenge, such as housing shortages and the need for robust digital infrastructure. We have a project in Arima where we plan to create Arima as a smart hub. So what the government would have recently done, we'd have put in a lot of infrastructure so that persons within the space can have free access to Wi-Fi. And then we could start putting up smart poles and traffic management solutions through these smart initiatives. We have one of the infrastructures at the Arima Hospital, and the CEO has already been speaking about how they would use this to treat patients differently. So all of this is growth and development, and we could take it step by step with ensuring that that plan is achieved. Initiatives like the Caribbean Resilient, Inclusive, Smart, and Safe Cities model aim to foster regional growth while considering the needs of vulnerable population. To succeed, Caribbean nations are focusing on enhancing urban governance, citizen activism, and the integration of technology to improve urban life. So we need to continue in research and development. In the Caribbean region, with its diverse economies, a vibrant culture, face unique challenges in research and development. Issues such as vulnerability to natural disasters, economic impacts from the COVID-19 pandemic, and resilience on tourism and commodity exports have created a complex environment for growth and innovation. Efforts to strengthen fiscal balances, revitalize growth, and build resilience are crucial for sustainable development. Additionally, investing in climate adaptation, improving investment climates, and safeguarding the environment are key areas for research and policy focus to harness the region's potential. And we will continue with monitoring and evaluation of our systems, because continuous monitoring and evaluation are critical for the development of the Caribbean. Ensuring the policies and programs are effectively addressing the region's unique challenges. Initiatives like the results-oriented monitoring have been instrumental in providing targeted social services and improving government accountability and transparency. Partnerships, such as the one between the Caribbean Community Secretariat and the World Bank's Independent Evaluation Group, aim to foster a results-oriented culture, enhancing policy design and response to crises like the COVID-19 pandemic. These efforts reflecting a growing recognition of importance of evidence-based policymaking and the need for robust M&E systems to drive sustainable development in the Caribbean. In conclusion, as engineers, as problem solvers, as holders to the future for the next 30 years, we need to take responsibility for making this beautiful, scenic, serene region a space of resilience, a space of safety, a space of growth, and most of all, a region that the rest of the world can pattern after. I thank you for your attention, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Minister. You said all of the words that you basically encompassed our entire conference, guys. It was an excellent 2 days. We can all leave now. I really appreciate the words that you've said. You've actually said things that I'm very passionate about. You said the word smart, which I've been working on something called smart hospitals for the last 10 years. You said resilience and sustainability over and over, which I dream it in my sleep. You did mention that building codes are very important and that we need to get it, and that it's something that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is trying to get in place. That's essential for us to have in place. We do need to have minimum standards that is mandated by law that people need to follow. You mentioned the enforcement of building codes, which tends to be a problem. There was something that we looked at, when I say we, a collective group that some of us in this room have also been working on in the past 10 years or so. World Bank is also involved. It started with the Pan American Health Organization, which was smart hospitals. And one of the ways we dealt with sort of that separation or that gap between existing building codes and what's implemented on the ground was the use of check consultants. So French territories have it, some other types of countries have it. In the English-speaking Caribbean, it's mostly non-existent. So we use something called check consultants, which are far more experienced professionals and experts in the field people make mistakes. We as engineers, I make mistakes, we all make mistakes, builders make mistakes. So how do we ensure quality control checks and balances are put in place? And it's with the use of a system called check consultants or bureau de control in the French territories. It's very effective and it works, and that could help save your housing developments from having to be demolished. Anyways, are there any questions for the minister? There are no, well, he was very clear and concise, I understand that, but you don't have to be shy. He's very approachable. No? Okay. All right. Yes, we have one. Do we have a microphone that's it's for the online speakers, participants as well.
Testing? Yeah. Minister, how has your training and background as an engineer helped you in the realm of politics?
So this is being recorded, right? What I recognize is, as an engineer, you tend to be structured. You know, you tend to know where you want to go, and then you structure based on the knowledge that you have to get there. So I have been, how it helped me is a lot of the problems that we currently face, you know, you wouldn't believe, you know, sometimes people say, but they're so easy to fix, and it not being fixed is the truth. There's no structure, there's too many silos, everybody functioning in silos. So what I have been doing is basically trying to pull everything together and formulating policy as we move forward to achieve the objectives. So let me give you an example. In building resilient communities, we have to consider the most vulnerable spaces that we have existing. And there's a policy and a law where if you cannot present proof of where you're living, the government cannot intervene to give you any assistance. Now, if you know the history of Trinidad, there are a lot of old estates from slavery time that a lot of people settled, and they would never have documentation. So people live in 70, 80 years on these spaces, and every time rain falls, you know they say when rain falls, it's nice time to sleep. I don't sleep because I understand some of the challenges that these people face. And it's simple, sometimes it's just simple water management because the soil just keep getting saturated. So I have to go and pull, even though I'm in the Ministry of Housing, I have to go to the Director of Surveys, I have to go to the Commissioner of State Lands, I have to go to the Chief State Solicitor, I have to go to, everyone, and just explain the objective of building resilient spaces and explain the bureaucratic challenges that we face in helping these most vulnerable people. And then we create a simple policy, temporary, until it's passed in law, because you know passing laws in the parliament also as an ex-political story, right? Yes. So for me, my engineering experience has helped me in terms of what I would consider to be clinical and critical thinking. You know, it's something that when you're doing a project, you start from foundation and you critically and clinically think it through, get your steps forward, and then you execute. So thanks for that question.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have any other? Yes, there's one more question. Actually, two more questions. First gentleman in the not right.
Hello? All right.
Yes.
Good day, everyone. So you all mentioned smart cities, right? What exactly is the scope of the smart city, in the sense that I know that Toyota have their smart city that they're developing, and that's like super advanced, where they want to develop a space to test new technology, right? And I guess that is the higher end of smart city. And also, I know that some smart cities, they put in the self-driving cars, right? They're trying to automate the transportation system, a more advanced camera system, being controlled by AI and stuff like that. What's the scope of the smart city for Arima?
All right, thanks for that question. So when we know where we want to be, we have to know what the challenges are. So for example, a self-driving car, and I only know the challenges with self-driving because of the robot that I would have designed. Using simple Arduino boards programming, but think about a self-driving car with the road infrastructure that we have now. The car might go crazy. So we have to start from scratch. We have to start in terms of what is required for us to achieve the smart space. And one of the main things in a smart space is information sharing and data collection and analysis. Because even the car would be collecting data to be able to analyze it and to know how to move based on your input. So one of the best and easiest ways for sharing data is through the internet. So what we did, the first step was actually a social survey of all the challenges that we have in the space, traffic management, what we don't adhere to in terms of traffic, and some of the challenges that we face in terms of actually putting things forward. So now we made a Wi-Fi free space, and as you all know, when you go into a space, the first thing you do, you ask, what's the Wi-Fi password, right? And that will allow us to start collecting data from persons. Is do the tick, you just tick and accept, right? If you take the time to read all of what it is, what we're really trying to do is collect data so we can improve. We monitor the amount of persons moving forward. We monitor the times in which we move forward, so we know where to put in specific infrastructure to alleviate the problems. So basically we want to get to the smart cars, but we want to make sure the car don't go crazy before. So that we have to start with data collection. Yeah?
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Minister Leon, my question more gears towards curiosity. What prompted your transition from engineering to politics way back then?
So this is a true story. So I actually was settling in the UK, already purchased my flat and everything, and I came back to enjoy the best festival in Trinidad and Tobago, which is Carnival. And I made contact with our now Prime Minister, and we're talking and stuff, and within the conversation, I didn't even know they were screening at the point in time. Within the conversation, somebody said, hey, that fella is an engineer, and he's from Laventille. And that was the end of it. They say, you from Laventille, you're an engineer, and you're doing, because at that time I was doing optimizing of different designs. So people would send their designs, we will analyze it and we will do a little optimization of it, you know, whether it be material or how many parts, etc., and redesign it for them and send it back. Just making a little bit of money, you know. Things wasn't too bad, and I felt as though, you know, I always reference the pledge that we made. I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. And I felt as though I was called to bring service back to my country. But I'll always be an engineer in my heart. So that's what happened.